So, figured I'd hurry up and crunch out this video real quick because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know it's a United States thing, we celebrate Thanksgiving, but that shouldn't let all of you guys outside the U.S. to not celebrate with us. So by all means, happy Thanksgiving. So, the point of this video is overthinking. See, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people tend to, well, it's not a lot. It's really based on the individual, honestly. It's really based on how you perceive things, how you dissect situation, how you, like, for example, me as a person, the type of person I am is I like to set goals. Yes, I have a major goal that I want to definitely reach and conquer. But at the same time, even though I have this goal, along the way of getting to that major goal, there's probably going to be some mini goal that pops up. And you know what? That's all right with me. I like having, that sort of orientation where there's a bunch of mini goals that will help lead me to that major goal. And who knows, once I hit that major goal, there might be another goal that I see that be like, oh, okay, this is cool. In other words, I'm not always complacent with where I'm at. I always like to reach higher. And that's my thing. That's why when it comes to completing these goals, it makes me feel good, make me feel like I'm achieving something. It's not based on, like, oh, I'm a failure or anything like that. No, it's more on the fact of, it's keeping me motivated to keep on pushing, so to speak. But that's just me. Now, to reach these goals, obviously there gotta be plans and strategies to be set in place. And that's one of the things about what I mean by overthinking. And granted, there have been situations where even I myself overthought things. Now, overthinking does not derive based on, setting goals or anything like that. It can be happen in terms of, dating, in terms of work, in terms of how you pay your bills, or in terms of anything. Now, I'm not going to be kind of rude or, pretty much I understand that, yes, there's the thing called anxiety. And yes, there are some people that do have it, that deal with it, and they doing the best they can to not be overcome with anxiety. But the thing is, all of us, we all experience our own version of anxiety. And that's really derives on how well you can deal with stress. Now, don't get me wrong, there is healthy stress. The healthy stress is pretty much more of, it helps you stay motivated. It helps you, for some people, it helps you be focused, but it's really like motivate you or lit that fire under your ass to keep on moving, to keep pushing on. A perfect example of this would be like, say, well, I'm going to speak on my own personal experience. Back when I was in college, whenever I have a project or an essay that I have to do, and there's a due date where it has to be done, me, the type of person that I am is, if it's due on, like, say it's due in 3 weeks. Week one, I do a lot of research. I do what I can to pretty much prep myself to make side notes of things that I know that I'm going to be interested in, and that falls in the parameter of my project. Then week two, more like putting things and focusing onto paper. And then obviously week three, before that final date, make sure the paper finalized to my own liking, where I feel like, all right, cool, this is what I want. Now, do not be mistaken. I do tend to overthink things because me being who I am, I know words that can be replacing another word but have the same meaning or have a somewhat of a similar context of what I'm trying to say or convey. And it's like, when it sounds good verbally or even written on paper, I tend to overthink like how my professor going to perceive it, because for some of the professors, they have an idea of who I am where they be like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. But then there are those that are pretty much in the realm of, they don't know me that well enough where they're just like, is he trying to sound smarter than me, or like, not like, it's kind of like that sort of perception, because I don't know them enough or never had the opportunity where I can express myself, where they can be like, oh, okay, this is part of his dialect. It's part of his language. So I tend to overthink things where it's like I try to simplify my project sometimes to make it seem like it's understanding for them and easier for them, or some it really based on how it is, and it's like sometimes it was beneficial for me, other time it's like it's just but then it comes too close to that final date where I want everything to be done perfectly, and I'm not a perfectionist by all means, but things like that, I just want things like not just done, but in a way where it's like when I hand it in, I know it's like I'm satisfied with what I'm giving to them because it's a representation of my work to them. So yeah, that's where that healthy stress is, where it's like keep me motivated, keep me focused on making sure that I'm doing what I can present myself better. Then there's some stress which can really mess with somebody, and that can also be derived from overthinking as well, where you just it's like everything just become chaotic to the point where it's like your interaction becomes different, becomes weird. It like I said, everybody's anxiety and the way they handle it is different. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's an easy peasy thing that anybody can get over, or like here's a magic pill, pop it in, and there you go. For some people, it derives more than that. It could be something that comes from trauma or something chaotic, or for speaking for me, overthinking. Now, in life, like I said, obviously I'm very goal oriented. When I make plans or strategies, I always, as much as I want things to go my way, I have that expectation of things gonna come and derail it or things just happen. Now, for a lot of people, and I'm not gonna lie, it can be very irritating, but at the same time, it's life. Things happen, and I'd rather be stressed over things I can control instead of be stressed over things I cannot control. You would be surprised how much I've witnessed people freaking out or stressing over things that is like that's beyond your control. Why you to focus on that? It's like that's some of the thing, and like I said, it's also derived from overthinking. It doesn't even have to be like goal, in terms of goal orientation or in terms of college or project. It could be in terms of dating. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I'm every woman's perfect man, I have been in situations where I tend to overthink a situation. In the setting, in the moment, where I'm like, oh, cool. And this went back in my younger days, where I'm just like, ah, okay. If I do this, then I expect this to happen. Then this will happen from here, and then it's like I'm mapping out situation instead of just letting things happen naturally. And I will admit I've done that in the past, where it's like there may have been opportunity where it could have just been like, hey, stupid, like this. Kind of, it just, it's all basically simplistic, but you gotta learn from your experience, so to speak. But at the same time, when you overthink things, you might be ignoring, signs where that person's like, hey, and you're like, oh wait, what does that mean? Oh wait, and plus, I'm at that point in my life where I'm just like, you might as well just tell me. But at the same time, where's the fun in that? Go ahead, drop signs or anything, but give me an opportunity to pretty much present myself for you. But when I was a lot younger, and it wasn't more like based on insecurity, it was more based on, okay, I don't want to say confidence level because I'm always been a confident person. It's more in the base of, okay, I'm trying to think for two people, myself and her, instead of thinking for, okay, just, press on, which I pretty much learned, that's all you gotta do is be yourself, press on, and see what happens from there. If you're one of those people that in that situation where you're overthinking stuff, like in terms of dating, just be yourself. You don't have to be the most confident person in the world, because that's me, but not playing. But yeah, I like I said, I am a confident person, but there are things where you just gotta simplify things to reality. The more you think, the more time you're wasting instead of just doing it. Because if you're thinking it a lot, like I said, overthinking, you're literally wasting time from actually just doing it. Because if you don't know unless you try, unless you just do it. If there's a girl you like, or a guy you like, or I don't know what your sexual orientation is, but if there is a person you're interested in, sitting there and thinking about strategies and plans of like what to wear, how to talk, how to whatever, this and that, or how to do a fake trip just to get their attention, just do it. Just go up there and just say hi, introduce yourself. Because the more you overthink, like I said, that's more of your time being wasted. And who knows, what if you're hanging out with the person you like? Believe it or not, more cases than one, the person that is hanging out with you and they know you like them, they probably like you back, which is why they are hanging out with you. They're giving you an opportunity to be like, hey, I know you like me, and I kind of like you too, but. And you're just like, uh, uh, I like your wallpapers, nice color. It's like, what the hell, you know? It's like, but at the same time, you set yourself in that situation by overthinking things. Just relax. Like I said, in terms of planning structures, having major projects, look, life is never prepared. Nobody is born with, as soon as you're birth, you're like, okay, I'm gonna cry, but I expect in a year from now I'm gonna be walking, talking, I'm gonna do this. None of us were like that. We just lived, and that's pretty much life. A lot of stuff will happen. It can derail your plans, or even if nothing happened where it seemed kind of boring, mundane, that means there's your opportunity to take advantage and just live, pretty much. Overthinking thing is going to be a setback. Now, I know I'm making it sound like it's a negative thing. There are aspects where overthinking can actually be good. And I have plenty of situations where it actually, well, took me out of situations that I'm glad I didn't have to stay that very long in. But it's really based on how confident you are, how well you're good at strategies, how well you're planning in, and how well you troubleshoot. And also, most importantly, how well you're pretty much willing to wing it. Cause we've all heard that old saying where it's like, oh, shit flies at, and blah blah blah. Step to the side, let it hit someone else. But understand there will come a day where you get hit with a bag full of dicks. And when you get hit with it, just be like, okay, I guess it's my time, my moment. But sometimes some of those dicks are kind of impressive to look at. You're like, oh, wow, that's, I mean, I'm not into that, but okay, that's interesting. You know what I mean? But like, say you're in a storm. Instead of trying to hide to stay dry and let the storm pass, dance in the rain, have fun. If there's problems or if there's a situation where you're stressed or you're having an anxiety attack or, just things you putting yourself down because it seems like things are not going your way, don't overthink it. Don't blame yourself. That's another thing. Another thing, that aspect that people tend to do when they overthink is like, it's not just you're sort of not making yourself be a confident person, but it seems like you're beating yourself up. And in a way, it does show a sign that you're not that confident in yourself or you don't trust yourself. That's why you're trying to see. I'm a type of person that rather create options. When you overthink things, you're trying to overthink things for answers. And never in life, there's never a clear cut correct answer. It just see how this happens, or all right, do this and see what happens. It's kind of like a live and learn. So like you learn from your mistakes and you just move on. Don't dwell on it. Another thing is, it's like recognize your path, but don't live in your path. If that makes sense to you, then you understand. If it don't, then just keep on living. Because as life keeps going, situations gonna happen. Do your best to be yourself and try to get yourself through the chaos, but don't waste too much time overthinking. Alright then. Later.